Hi, let's talk records. I'm Jonas, this is Sublime Media, and I'm gonna show you some records. This is a recent Vinyl Finds record, so this is like records that I bought and is going into my own private collection. Mainly prog, psych, and folk, no jazz this time. And I have 2 reissues, then it's first pressings, or early pressings at least. And I'm gonna top this video off with 2 Grail items. So yeah, before we start, subscribe, give the thumbs up, and comment. Do you don't like this? Do you have it? Do you have any comments on the pressings? I love the comments, and I answer every single comment that you put down below. So let's have a discussion. Let's go right into it. You are here to watch and hear me talk about records. So let's start by doing just that. This is Ritmo dell'Industria Noto. I don't know if you pronounce it like that, but this is from BTF. And when I was in Dan Bosch this fall, I think it's called fall, I befriended the guys. I bought a lot of records for my shop, and one of the guys actually gave me this as a gift because they are going heavily into the library music scene in 2025 and with this series. So I'm really excited about how that is going to play out. I mean, I love library music. I don't collect it, but I listen to it. Library music back in the day was like music that they made for film and radio and stuff like that. You can research it yourself. But if you want an original press of this, it's like €1,000, and they put it out on yellow wax. A little bit fusion-esque, proggy, soundtracky, everything you love with Italian music, really. And the other one, this was actually a trade by a customer. He traded this in. It's a reissue. It's a pretty common reissue with Dolce. Title is Dolce Aqua with Delirium, and it's a wonderful trifold cover. Look at that. There's the inside of the gatefold. Sounds great. This is from 2010, I think, but there are modern reissues also from BTF. I'm pretty sure. They mimic the original Bonit label. And as an original press, this is not that expensive. I mean, it's expensive because it costs like 70, 80, 90 euro for a VG Plus copy. But I mean, trifold, pretty obscure, great prog from Italy. I mean, everything is, you can buy records for 10,000 euros from prog in Italy. Okay, so that's the reissues. Let's go into the early pressings or the first pressings. This is actually a first press. This is Before and After Science with Brian Eno from 1977. A pure masterpiece through and through. He has made maybe 3-4 pure masterpieces. One of my favorite artists. I have had a German first press for a decade at least that I played, loved, and in a collection I found this minty copy. UK first press, awesome. But I consider myself a student when it comes to record collecting still, decades after I started, but I had no idea about this. So the first UK press actually came with an envelope, and in that envelope you had artworks, which is kind of neat. Look at that. I had no idea about the existence of this. I've never seen one in stores. I've never heard anyone talk about it or show it here on YouTube or on Instagram or something like that. No friends that told me about this. So when I told my friends that I found this, they knew about it and had copies with this. But so from me to you, if you didn't know, if you get a UK first press, just make sure that the envelope is in there. Okay, this is probably the best record I'm going to show you today, music-wise, and also the price. This is Sue, Hard Times, Good Times. This is a French progressive group, 3rd release, I think, from there. I have the first one, which is a little bit more heavy. This is a psych pop masterpiece. English, sung in English, and the tunes are so damn good. And lyrics, music, everything just top notch, 10 out of 10. And it's not expensive. You can get this for 20, 30, 40 euro in great condition on the Riviera label. First French press. Not expensive, and it's a mind blower. Highly recommended. If you're into a little bit more pop psych with progressive leanings, check that out. Okay, moving forward, a guy that I bought a handful of records from gifted me this, so thank you so much. I think that you watched my video, so yeah, thank you so much. This is Secret Oyster with Straight to the Krankenhaus, Danish progressive group. More fusion, I think, than prog. They're second or third. I have the first one, but I haven't played it and logged it yet. The CBS label. And this is cheap heat. This, you can get this for under 20 euro. In great condition. It's a banger, really. From start to finish, a fusion, prog fusion masterpiece. Just takes off, never leaves. Yeah, highly recommended. This is a Danish press. It says Holland, but I think it is a Danish press. So, found this in a collection, thought of selling it, and a buddy of mine said, check it out first, you should listen to it. And yeah, it goes straight into the collection. I'm sorry that I actually listened to it. This is Stray Dog from the US, a US band. They only did two records. I think they ventured into Road, or if it was Road and then became Stray Dog, I don't know. Have to listen to the second one also. But this is, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like this structured sleeve. Really cool. And it's on the Manticore label. I think you all know that label. So yeah, this is a hard rock banger. It's heavy blues or hard rock, heavy rock. Starts off with the singer just shouting like, fasten your seatbelts, and then they just go at it. Really good, highly recommended. We're not blessed with these artists, like we don't grow up with these artists. So I had no idea about her existence until like a year ago, I think, when they put out a reissue of this record. A buddy of mine said that you should check this out. She's really good. So I did, blew my mind. So I've been looking for an early pressing or first pressing. This is a mid-70s press, I think, that I got in for like €5 in the Bosch. This is Bobby Gentry's Ode to Billy Joe. Such a good record. I almost doesn't label this as country. It's more like rock or pop or something like that. But sure, definitely country leanings. Her voice is from another dimension, and she uses her voice perfectly. The first song is my favorite, Mississippi Delta. Such a gravelly and rocking voice, but it also gets very emotional and almost like very a lot of feeling in her voice, especially on the title track or To Billy Joe. If you haven't heard that song, check it out. I hadn't heard it before I heard it. Okay. Anyway, it's like a novel in one song, a 3-minute song. There's so much going on in the text. I think the music in that song is not the best, but the lyrics and her performance, vocal performance, is awesome. Highly recommend it. Okay, so when I was in Hova, the best record fair in the world, middle of Sweden, in the middle of the forest, out in nowhere, these heavy collectors and sellers gather once a year for 3 days in caravans and tents. I've talked about it before, and in one of the caravans on a portable record player, I heard this. So I was standing there with my pipe and a beer in hand, middle of the day, listening to this, and it was awesome. So I knew that I have to get this when I get home. So I bought it on Discogs actually, and this is on a small label, folk, acid folk or psychedelic folk record by Mick Wills called Fern Hill, 1988, but it sounds like 1971. It's awesome. Not all tracks are masterpieces, definitely not, but for the price it goes for, the sort of the obscurity of it and dipping their toe in the old time folk, adding that psychedelic tinge to it, it's a no-brainer. I think there's samples online. You can listen to it and make up your own mind. But no one talks about this, and they should, in my opinion. So yeah, not a 10, it's a 7, but cool one if you're collecting records, and I think we all do. Living Blues. So my pimp up north in Sweden, John from Bebopalula Land, the record store, one of the best record stores in Sweden, and I never been there. He sent me a picture of this, said, do you have this? And I didn't. So Rocking at the Tweed Mill, I only had a reissue of this. This is the first Dutch press in perfect condition. I was so stoked to get this, because this is my favorite blues rock record from Holland, and maybe one of my favorite blues rock records ever, actually. Their take on Diving Duck is, they can play that on my funeral. So really nice. Thank you so much, John. Staying in the white blues from Europe kind of state. This is the John Mayall Plays John Mayall, recorded live at Clocks Cleek, 1964, and I think it's a first mono UK press. I'm gonna show you the label. I'm not that into the Decca label, but I think when I looked it up with the deep groove there and all, yeah. Anyway, great John Mayall. The more I listen to John Mayall, the more I appreciate him. So I should just listen to John Mayall all day, every day. But I still have some stuff by John Mayall that I have cleaned but not listened to yet. So really looking forward to that. I think that after I've played all that I have in my to play pile, I'm gonna have a pretty decent John Mayall collection, actually, of first pressings. Private pressed record. This is Carlos P. Steinblast with I Need a Woman, and just so you know, it's a progressive rock record. So he really wanted you to know that. Isn't this the best cover artwork you have ever seen in your life? Look at the doggo. Ah, that's awesome. So the backside is a little bit more heavy. You have the guy there, yeah, and I don't think that that's a cigarette that guy's smoking. Angus Thomas. Looks like the bass player. The most funky of the bunch, maybe. So, this, I don't know how I stumbled upon this. Sampled online, I think. And I actually bought it from a guy from Sweden that now lives in the States, but he goes to Den Bosch 2 times a year. So I bought it from him, and he brought it to Den Bosch, so I just picked it up. He's a big collector, and in the 90s, he traveled to the US to scour private pressings all the time, and this is recorded and released in Nashville in 1980. So there were a mom and pop store there that always had sealed copies of this. Maybe they were related or something, I don't know, he didn't know. So he always stopped by there and grabbed some copies. So I think that he is the sole sort of reason why this is out there in the world today. It's a great one, especially the second side. You have Where Is Debbie Miller. You can sample that online. It's a great prog, heavy prog tune with a lot of charm. This is the stuff that I try to collect nowadays. I think it's so awesome. So my Swedish prog collection is ever expanding. This is one that I've been looking for a while. I wanted to pay next to nothing for it, and now I did. So Dice, their first one, I think they released 2, is from 1978, maybe 79. Yeah, they played like ELP, Yes-esque music, maybe Genesis a little bit. So, and I've always been a little bit put off from that. But now I took a chance on E, and it sounds so good. Recorded perfectly, music great, and yeah, nothing wrong with that font either. So cool. So yeah, and this is not an expensive prog record, or expensive, but it's not super expensive. I mean, there's Swedish prog records that cost way more than this. So if you're interested in that sort of music, sample this online, and if you get a very good copy of it, it will sound great on any system. Before we go into the Grail territory, I finally found a copy of this. I've been looking for this for so long, but they never turn up in my part of the world. So this is the US Nucleus, not the UK one. They only released this record. They fast went nowhere on the mainstream label, which is such a cool label. So yeah, 3 songs on each side, and all of them are great, very psychedelic, extremely experimental, and I think that the culmination of the entire thing is the last song on the second side, Communication, which is the most spaced out song. But you can start with Jenny Wake Up, the first track on the first side. It's a brain melter, fuzzy guitar, you know, everything that you want from one of these US records. So heavy Psych, an experimental Psych. Awesome. Check it out. If you have mainstream records for sale, I'm steadily growing my mainstream collections. Just PM me. So okay, this is a Krautrock record, and I'm going to be a little bit bold here. I'm going to say that this is on my top 10 Krautrock records of all time. I love this record, but maybe some that is into Kraut doesn't, because it's a little bit special. I almost see this more as a fusion record than a prog or a Kraut record. It's not as spacey as many Kraut records are. It's not as progressive as many records from this time period were. Maybe a little bit more leaning into jazz, but it's a jazzy prog record. And I'm talking about Iblis. This is Supernova, and it's in minty fresh. Listen, it still crackles when you open it. I'm still blown away that I actually own this now. It's not. I mean, it's expensive. This is a collector's item, definitely, especially in this condition. The record itself is mint. There's not a. Yeah, it looks unplayed. I don't think that anyone played this before I got my hands on it. Look at it. It's like brand spanking new. Awesome label there. So yeah, I'm so excited. I had a reissue for many years, played it to death. It sounds great, but actually owning a first press of this now is so exciting. One of the Kraut records that I really had my eye on one day, you know, and now we're here. So yeah, Iblis. So last but not least, okay, so a little bit of a story. I love telling the stories of how I get the record, so bear with me now. I'm contacting this guy because he's selling his record collection. It turns out that he's selling his dad, or with his dad, he's selling his dad's collection. Mostly run-of-the-mill, like 70s stuff, stuff that you see all day long. And but solid stuff that I can sell in my shop. So anyway, we are having a discussion over Christmas. We FaceTime a couple of times. He shows some of the records, and we do lists of everything. Decide on a price for it all, and so unseen, I buy the collection. And yeah, just 2 weekends ago, I go there and I get it. 2 hours drive. We're putting everything in my trunk. Like, I'm driving home with it, and I come home, and I know sort of what it is. There's some titles that I really was aiming for, like having in my own collection, which I will show in Vinyl Finds to come, but a lot of stuff that I can sell also in my shop. So I think that for what I paid for it, I can probably take what I want and add to my own collection, and then the rest of it will sort of pay for what I paid for it. Okay, so this record is in there. You see this every day. And you don't really bat an eye on it because it's easy to sell. One of the most easiest records actually to sell. It just needs to be in pretty good condition, because otherwise they can buy from someone else, you know. So I don't really focus on this record. It's in there. I bought it, you know. I put it in my shop. So when I go through all the records and I'm going to clean some of them to put up for sale, I'm pulling it out of the cover, and what do I see? I see a solid triangle. It's a UK copy, and it has A2 B2 in a dead wax, which means that this is a dead first UK press of this stone cold classic, and there's no way to tell that it's a first if you don't look at the record. So I mean, you see tons of these if you buy collections, and you see them in shop, and they are always popular. You can always sell any kind of pressing of this because everyone wants a copy if they go getting into this hobby. But I've been collecting records for many years, and I haven't even seen a A2B2 solid triangle version even on record fairs. So never in shop, like, and what they go for is, like, I would never afford one if I got, I would never pay what they go for, even in this condition. It's in great, the vinyl is in like VG+++, sounds, no pops, no clicks, nothing, a little bit rugged cover artwork, only has one of the posters, lacks one poster and the postcards, but even without all of that, even in this condition with vinyl being VG plus, it goes for hundreds of dollars. So yeah, so I was complaining, like, should I sell it? Because it goes for a lot of money. I need money. I love money. But I love records more. So I have a 1977 mint fresh copy of a Swedish pressed Dark Side of the Moon. That sounds fabulous. So I started to A/B test them, and this blows that out of the water, even if the Swedish press is a 8.5 in sound. So I don't know what to do. Like, I don't need two, so I'll probably end up selling the Swedish version. But yeah, cheers. Anyway, super happy to have a first UK press. This is why I actually go out. This is why I started my company. This is why I'm selling records and buying big collections, and doing, like, live and breed records every day, to finally, in a collection, finding one of these babies and bring it home, adding to my collection. That's the whole point. Like, I love selling records, but at the end of the day, I'm selling records because I finance this mental thing that is behind me. So yeah, okay, thank you so much for watching. Please comment. I mean, I think that we can fill the comments with discussions about the Dark Side of the Moon pressing, I guess. So do that, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Great day, everyone.